Hi students, how are you? I hope each one among you are doing good and well. Welcome to Supnits classes. This is Rahmat Latif and today we are going to learn a new fresh concept of class 11th chapter Living World, that is consciousness. Okay, I already mentioned in our previous session what defining feature is and what characteristic feature means. Okay, if you don't know what is characteristic feature of living organism and what is defining feature of living organism, please do watch that video once and come back to this video that in order to clear your concepts well. Okay, so we won't waste much more time. We will start with our new topic, that is consciousness. Okay, I'll simply tell you in simple language what consciousness means. What do we mean by consciousness? Consciousness simply means whether an organism is able to respond to the stimuli present in the environment. Say for example, I will try to explain it through an example. Say for example, an organism is living in a hot place, for example Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, what they need, they just need they just want to live inside their houses in order to protect themselves from environment, harsh conditions. Okay, in order to protect themselves from hot environment, they just want to live in, to stay inside the house. Okay, that's consciousness. They are conscious about their environment. Okay, they are consciousness of their environment. That's why they just want to stay inside the house rather than outside the house. Okay, say for example, on contrary, another person is living in cold area, cold climate, chilled, where chilled weather, usually where there is chilled weather. Okay, say for example that person is living in Himalaya. Okay, what happens in Himalayan regions, there is too much chilled weather, so again people prefer to live inside the house, along with so many cloths, jackets, coats, that too with blankets. Okay, what is that again? That's again consciousness. They are conscious about their environment. That's why they would prefer to live inside the house rather than outside the house. Okay, that is basically consciousness. Now if I will tell you that each and every organism, be it prokaryotes, simplest organisms, or eukaryotes, the most complex organisms. Okay, say for example there are prokaryotes or eukaryotes, there are simplest organisms or most complex organisms. Each and every organism is, they are very conscious about their environment. Okay, they have that consciousness, be they simplest organisms or most complex organisms. Okay, what happens in them basically, they just know how to give stimulus to our environment. I already mentioned in reproduction in organisms, when amoeba divides by binary fission, amoeba do reproduction through binary fission, but when there are unfavorable conditions, they divide by multiple fission. That means they are capable of sensing their environment. That's why amoeba in unfavorable conditions don't prefer binary fission, they prefer multiple fission over binary fission. Please remember. So I gave you example how prokaryotes are able to sense their environment. Similarly, I already gave example of eukaryotes. In eukaryotes, I told you that what happens basically, say for example humans, they are able to sense their environment. When there is so hot outside, they just prefer to stay inside the house, or they just prefer to wear t-shirts only. Okay, loose clothes. But when it comes to cold weather, winters, what they do, they just put on very sweaters, very warm sweaters, jackets, blazers, okay, so on and so forth. This was the example of consciousness of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. I hope you just got this example what consciousness is basically, okay. And the consciousness, I'll explain here. Consciousness simply means when living organism, it's the ability to sense our surrounding or environment and respond to these environmental stimuli, which could be physical, chemical or biological, okay. As I already mentioned, all organisms from prokaryotes to the most complex eukaryotes can sense and respond to the environmental cues, and we know human being is the only organism who is aware of himself, that is has self consciousness. Say for example, I will hit the plant won't hit me back because that has not self consciousness, okay. But when it comes to human beings, if I will hit someone, if I will punch someone, if I will slap someone, what they will do, they won't be like it's okay. At least if they won't slap me back, they would say some words, some harsh words to me, okay, if I just slap them without any reason. That means human being is the only organism who is aware of himself, that is has self consciousness, okay. And we know we are the organisms, living organisms are able to self replicate, we just replicate on our own, okay. In cells we replicate on our own, that's why we are able to produce more and more cells, and that's the feature of living organisms only, okay. Now we will see what basically species mean. What do we mean by species? Species in simplest language means the new kind of organism or any organism we saw represents species. Say for example, you guys are watching me now. What does it mean? It simply means you are watching me. I am a particular species. Belonging to which species? Homo sapiens, which means I belong from species of human beings. Similarly, if you will see cats, okay, fellas, if you are going to see cats, they belong another species, they doesn't come inside, they doesn't come with our species, human being species, okay. Say for example, you saw dogs, they represent different species. Say for example, you are seeing a particular plant, rose plant, this represents another species, okay. So we have so many species on our planet, okay. And how many species has been discovered so far? Its range is between 1.7 to 1.8 million. Oh my god, 1.7 to 1.8 million species we have discovered till the date. 1.7 to 1.8 million. We just know our the species we are surrounded by. Say for example, cats, dogs, plants or human beings, but there are approximately 1.7 to 1.8 million species on our planet, okay. Now you may know, say for example, if I will tell you, we have a particular name. Say for example, my name is Rahmat, okay. But somebody calls me name A. I have so many pet names. Somebody calls me A, somebody calls me B, friends call me C, family calls me D, okay. But if they will talk to, say for example, they are talking in front of stranger, their friends are calling me B, family is calling me A, relatives are calling me C, neighbors are calling me D, the stranger would get confused. Is this a same person or they are talking about four different persons, right? That's why we have one official name, okay. We have one official name. which we just put on our certificates, we put on in our college, universities, schools, primary schools, secondary schools, official name by which we are known. Okay, say for example, relatives might not know what my friends call me. Similarly, my family might not know what my neighbors call me. Okay, if they are talking about me now, they will get confused whether they are talking about in front of stranger, whether they are talking about me or someone else or four other persons. Okay, that's why we have one official name. What I actually meant to say here is, I already mentioned there are 1.5 to 1.7, sorry, there are 1.7 to 1.8 million species known so far. Okay, and each species in their respective countries, in their respective states, in their respective locality are known by their local names. Like we have pet names, they have local names as well. But in order to get over all the confusion, what scientists do, they just keep one official name, we can say. Okay, they keep one biological name to every species. Okay, say for example, I am talking about Homo sapiens. When I am talking about Homo sapiens, it should hit your mind that I am talking about human beings, not cats, not dogs. Okay, similarly, if I am talking about Panthera tigris, it means I am talking about tiger, not lion, not any other organism. Similarly, if I am talking about Rahmat, it means I am talking about myself. Rahmat, Latif, but I am talking about myself, not anybody else. That's why scientists, in order to get over this confusion, scientists provide us biological name of each organism, so that whenever we talk about that organism, we shouldn't get confused whether we are talking about same organism or not. If I will tell local name of the said organism, you guys will tell me the local name of that organism. We both will get confused. That's why we have scientific names, or we can say biological names, of each and every organism in order to get rid of that confusion. I hope this concept is clear. Okay, that naming is known as nomenclature. That naming is known as, wait, let me rub it. The naming I am talking about is known as nomenclature, and nomenclature simply means naming. Okay, so we have, as I already mentioned, we have to standardize name of living organism, such that if we are if anybody on this planet earth is talking about any organism, we should come to the conclusion which organism he is talking about. Okay, if he will call that organism by local name, we will get confused. But if he will call that organism by biological name or scientific name, we will come to the point that the person is talking about particular organism. Okay, and we will identify that in our brains. That's why that process is known as identification. Okay, just if somebody is talking about any organism, okay, and they describe that correctly, that organism is like this, like they have two ears, two eyes, one nose, one mouth, we will come to the organism that is known as identification. That's why scientists produce, they establish, naming, they produce naming to each known organism, and that is acceptable by biologists all over the world. Say for example, we have to produce name for any plants. Okay, that is given by ICBN. That is given by ICBN. Please remember its full form, as it may come in your boards as well as competitive examinations. It means International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. nomenclature. It includes botanical naming. That means this name is related to plants. Okay. Similarly, animal taxonomists, they evolved their own code known as International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. It means International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Since here comes zoological, it means we are talking about animals. Please remember, naming of plants is done by ICBN, International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, and naming of animals, nomenclature of animals, is done by International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Please don't get confused between both of them. As I already mentioned, botanical means related to plants, zoological related to animals, so there is no need to get confused in them. Okay. And why do we establish names through them, ICBN and ICGN? It's all in order to get rid of confusion, in order to get one particular name to one particular organism. Okay, I hope this concept is clear. Biologists, be they animal taxonomists or be they botanists, what they do, they provide scientific names to known organism. And what kind of naming? I already tell you that we known as nomenclature. Okay, nomenclature simply means naming. What kind of naming they did? Scientists do, they do binomial nomenclature. See, don't get confused, please. Bi means two, nomenclature means naming. That means in scientific naming we have two components. In scientific naming we have two components. One of them is generic name and another is specific epithet. Okay. Which nomenclature is done by scientists? They do binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature simply means when we have two components in the name. First component of scientific name or biological name is always generic name. That means we include genus of that organism or species, and in specific epithet we include species. Please remember. Okay, in specific epithet we include species. Is this concept clear? I hope this concept would be clear. And this two naming system was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, it was done by Carolus Linnaeus, and this system of naming was found convenient. Okay, this was found convenient. That's why we use this naming. Okay, let me give you an example of mango. What is the biological or scientific name of mango? It can come as MCQ or it can come as 1 mark question. Please remember, mango simply means its biological name is Mangifera indica. Now you guys should be able to know, to give me answer what Mangifera is and what indica is. Mangifera means genus and indica means species, or in other words we can say Mangifera indicates or in another words we can say genus or generic name. For species we can say specific epithet. I hope this concept of nomenclature is clear, and I am again saying, it was given by Carolus lineage. Now, in our upcoming lecture, we will see what are the rules of nomenclature. How can we write the names? Okay. So, in order to attend my further lectures, do subscribe our channel and do share it with your friends, family, so that they will come to know about biology. I hope this concept is clear. We'll meet you in another session. Till then, goodbye. Take care. Thank you so much. Thank you.